Coming up on today's video, we've got some major reports to break down from ESPN and Fox Sports on some of the top quarterbacks in this 2024 NFL draft class. We're talking about Jayden Daniels, we're talking about Drake Maye, and maybe a trade up inside the top three as the NFL draft is less than 3 weeks away. I am pumped up. A little bit tired of talking about the draft. I'm just ready to see who the next player the Giants are going to select in round one will be. I want you to decide it right now, though. Would you rather have Drake Maye or Jayden Daniels as the franchise quarterback? Type DM, type JD, and let me know. Today's New York Giants Now by Chat Sports video is presented by 8 Sleep. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports and get $200 off plus free shipping. Invest in the rest that you deserve. We'll tell you more about 8 Sleep around the corner. We'll also touch on Jayden Daniels and the reports coming out from ESPN and Jordan Raanan. But I want to talk about what Ralph Vacchiano, former longtime beat reporter for the New York Giants, now works for Fox Sports, said about Drake Maye. Let's dive into the quote from Vacchiano. He said, Maye is the prospect who could most entice the Giants to make a blockbuster move up from number 6, according to multiple NFL sources familiar with the Giants' thinking. With USC's Caleb Williams almost certain to be taken by the Chicago Bears at number 1, the 21-year-old Maye is believed by many around the NFL to be the next QB on the Giants' list. In fact, one league source said he believes that if Maye somehow gets past the Washington Commanders at pick number 2, which is far from a certainty, the Giants would consider making an aggressive offer to the New England Patriots to move up from number 6 to number 3 to select Drake Maye. It's not clear if New York would be willing to do the same for LSU's Jayden Daniels or Michigan's J.J. McCarthy, the other 2 top quarterbacks likely to be available at that spot. And I am going to stay on this take that I've consistently uttered. If pick number 3, owned by the New England Patriots, is on the board, it is up for grabs, and they are letting teams know that they are going to trade out of that spot, the Giants need to do whatever it takes to move up there. If the Vikings are able to go from 11 to 3 to select Drake Maye or Jayden Daniels, and the Giants just sit at 6 and sit on their hands and watch it happen, I'm going to be pretty disappointed because I believe Maye, as well as Jayden Daniels, can be a franchise quarterback. It's not going to be cheap, though. We talked about the Vikings. They have 2 picks in the first round. They may even offer a 2025 first-round pick. Other teams you'll be competing with, we know the Raiders love Jayden Daniels. I could see maybe the Broncos trying to move inside the top 6. There are multiple quarterback-needy teams that are going to be trying to move up if pick number 3 is on the board. I also want to just remind everyone, which I'm sure everybody knows, Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen, when they were a part of the Buffalo Bills coaching staff and their front office, they were a part of that group that traded up for Josh Allen in Buffalo. So they've been a part of a regime that made a major move to go up and get a franchise quarterback. And they saw it work out. And Drake Maye is my number 2 QB in this draft class. I've had that for a while. I'm confident in that. I think Drake Maye is going to be a really good player in this league. Only 21 years old, 6'4", 223 pounds. I didn't love the tape that he put out there in 2023. It was still really good, but I think a lot of people are getting hooked up and hyper-focusing just on a couple of missed throws. Go turn on 2022 tape. The guy may have been the best quarterback in college football that year, completing over 66% of his passes, nearly 4,400 passing yards, 38 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, and he showed his dynamic legs as a playmaker and also a runner and scrambler, 700 yards, 7 rushing touchdowns. He was good in 2023, no doubt about it, but the team asked him to do a lot more with a lot less talent around him, so I'm not going to take away what I already saw in 2022, and he still made a lot of those similar great plays in 2023. The reason I believe, though, that he would be very successful with the New York Giants under Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka is his ability to be successful when targeting the middle of the football field. So many times in the NFL, we see the game won when it comes to throwing the ball inside the numbers, but more importantly, inside the hashes. And Drake Maye, as you can see, his heat map on the screen right now, he does that very, very well. He had an adjusted completion percentage when targeting the middle of the field at 81%. He threw 13 TDs to 4 interceptions when targeting that area of the football field, threw for almost 2,300 yards when doing so. He's really good there. But when you look at the right side, he struggles when throwing to the right sideline, only completing 9 of 29 passes when throwing the ball down the field, 7 of 22 when he's about 10 yards away. So he does struggle a little bit throwing to his dominant hand, but his ability to throw over the middle, I think, fits perfectly with what Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka want. Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka want to do when coming up with a game plan week in and week out. How many times have we seen Darius Slayton running those deep over routes over the middle? Same with a guy like Jalen Hyatt. We saw Tommy DeVito hit him over there a couple of times. The Giants want a downfield passing attack that operates inside the numbers and the hashes, and I believe Maye is up there with anybody in this class when it comes to being accurate and has great timing and being able to deliver seeds over the middle of the field. I think he'd be great with the Giants, and I think that Brian Daboll knows that he might just have Josh Allen 2.0 on his hands. We'll talk more about it, but first make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We're going to be going live on this channel, New York Giants Now by Chat Sports, for day 1 of the NFL Draft, maybe day 2 and probably day 3 if you guys show up and show out. So subscribe and turn your notifications on so you never miss a thing. Jordan Raanan had a very interesting report, I would say, on Jayden Daniels in the New York Giants. Very similar to what Ralph Vacchiano said, but this time it was focused on Jayden Daniels. We'll talk about that around the corner. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, 8 Sleep. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports and get $200 off plus free shipping. The high-tech solution to your age-old sleeping issues. 8 Sleep's Pod 3 cover slips right over your mattress, bringing heating and cooling technology that keeps you comfortable and sleeping deeper for a better, more restful night. I love 8 Sleep because it has totally stopped my night sweats. The pod cover will improve your sleep by automatically adjusting your bed's temperature based on your individual needs. The cover can be added to any bed like a fitted sheet and allows you and your partner to cool or warm your side of the bed as low as 55 degrees and up to 110 degrees. I'm someone, even when it's 30 degrees outside, I need the fan on, I need the AC on, and somehow I still have found a way to be sweating and wake up in those sweats. It's the worst. That stopped, though, once I got hooked up with 8 Sleep, and you can do the same. And as well as that, it's keeping you at the perfect temperature all night, and it tracks your sleep and health metrics. On average, pod users see their sleep quality improve by 32% after just 1 month on the pod. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports and get $200 off plus free shipping on the pod cover by 8 Sleep. Invest in the rest that you deserve. All righty, Jayden Daniels, the Heisman winner, the Bayou Bengal. Could he actually be the quarterback that Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen have circled on their big board and say, that is the quarterback I want to move up for? Raanan hinted that the Giants are keeping their eyes on Daniels, and he may be the quarterback they really actually are interested in. So we talked about Maye. Let's talk about Daniels. A lot of reports came out over the weekend as the draft is just a couple weeks away. Raanan said, quote, when it comes to this year's quarterbacks, Daniels is a name to keep an eye on. If he's not among the top 2 picks with Williams, he is a player who is well regarded within the organization and that multiple sources with connections to Schoen and Daboll believe would be an ideal fit in their offense. There is also interest in McCarthy, especially if he is available at pick number 6. I have Jayden Daniels as my QB3 in this draft class. I think he is a really good football player. I worry about what the floor is with him, and I worry a little bit about a lot of things. We'll talk about that around the corner. But Daniels' ceiling, what he can be in the NFL, if he goes to the right system and it works out and he blossoms into the player that we all believe he can be, his ceiling is up there with Drake Maye and Caleb Williams. I think he could be looked at in a similar regard if everything goes right. How often does that happen? Not that much. But this isn't the first time that we've heard that the New York Giants are in love with Jayden Daniels. John Frashella said this back on March 21st. While it comes out that the Giants are upset someone leaked the J.J. McCarthy story. We told you about that a couple of weeks ago. My source tells me they were even more interested in Jayden Daniels. However, it has become clear to the Giants that Daniels is definitely going in the top 3 of the NFL draft. Thus, their attention turned completely to McCarthy. So now we have Vernon, as well as Frischella, telling us that the Giants love Jayden Daniels. And if there is a type of quarterback that I want to work with Kafka and Dable, it is a guy like Jayden Daniels, full of potential, really having the ability to be an MVP candidate in this league. He can throw the ball deep, he's got great touch, and he is a true game changer when he decides to tuck and run the football. All the talent in the world, all the potential. That's what I want the Giants to work with, a potential blue chip prospect. And that is Daniels. And he showed you that over the last 2 years at LSU, but it was this year in the breakout that had every single NFL GM, scout, whatever you want to call him, falling in love with him. He had his completion percentage jump almost 5% this past year, while his yards per attempt did jump 4 yards. That is incredible to think about. He takes care of the football really well. Only 7 interceptions in the last 26 games that he's played in college, over 21 rushing touchdowns in the last 26 games, nearly 2,000 rushing yards. He is a very, very special athlete, and that was shown as well when he decided to tuck and run the football. Last year for LSU, he forced 47 missed tackles. He had 565 yards after contact. That is a running back type of number. He had 41 runs of more than 10 plus yards, and he had 8 runs of more than 15 plus yards. Look at some of the advanced analytics for Daniels. His adjusted completion percentage came out to 79.6. That was 7th in college football. He had a big-time throw rate of 8.4, 6th in the nation. And he also took care of the ball, like we mentioned, only had a turnover-worthy play rate of 1.6, tied for 6th, and he had the 4th most deep passing yards in all of FBS football last year. When you talk about some of the pros compared to some of the cons, I believe he is the best dual threat in this class. He's not a scrambler. He can, but he is a runner. And I love the touch that he has when throwing outside the numbers. He throws that slot fade better than almost anybody. A little bit of a cheat code last year with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. But I don't hate putting a player in a spot to be successful and using their strengths to help you win football games. He could truly make something out of nothing. And he's played 55 games in college. I love that. I love the experience. But he really only has 1 season of elite production. He's already 23 years old. Sometimes I think he misses some really easy reads. Like you're watching this film and it's like, bro, take the 7-yard over route right here. He watches it go open, and then it's not open. He's like, F it. He's quick to run it. And it's hard to say that's a negative play because he passed up an 8-yard over route and he tuck and ran it for 55 yards. The only thing I would say I am extremely worried about with him is he doesn't throw the ball well over the middle of the field, and he just has average zip on his intermediate throws. Unlike May, the ball flies out of his hands. Daniels, I think, could improve his arm strength when throwing that one ball more of a bullet pass. And for that, he is my QB3, and that is still extremely good. I would love for him to be a member of the New York Giants. If somehow he fell to pick number 6, that would be an A-plus pick for the Giants. If the Giants move up to 3, I believe that would be an A-plus pick because I believe he's a good quarterback. The Giants need a quarterback, and I believe that a guy like Brian Dable and Mike Kafka, if they are able to be around Jayden Daniels every day, and they are there assisting him in his growth in the NFL, it should work out because you hired Kafka and you hired Dable to be quarterback gurus. My question to you one more time after we've presented all the information. Who do you want to see under center next year for the Giants if they do select a quarterback? Is it Drake May or Jayden Daniels? I would truly be happy with either one. I will be jumping around, excited, being happy if Drake May is a quarterback. And I would feel the same exact way if Jayden Daniels is a quarterback. But I have Drake May QB2, and I have Jayden Daniels QB3. So I would prefer Drake May, but I'm going to love it if Jayden Daniels is also a New York Giant. Make sure you are following me over on social media at @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter, as well as at @MarshallGreen_ on Instagram. Hit me up over there, and make sure you like the video on your way up.